The real estate market has been volatile, and there are a lot of questions I'm hearing from buyers and sellers. I'm going to address the top 3 questions today, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com. Today I'm going to get into the details of the top 3 questions I hear. This market has been very volatile and there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. And when there's uncertainty, either some people fight through it with knowledge or they pause, they freak out, they run away. So I want to provide a little bit of information and hopefully a little bit of certainty so you can make the best decision for you. I will tell you in past times, Warren Buffett even talks about this, when a whole bunch of people do one thing, if you do the other thing, it might be to your benefit, right? So if a lot of people are freaking out and pausing their search right now, it might make sense to really trudge forward and figure out some certainty and make a decision. It could really benefit you in the long run. So let's address those top 3 questions. So the first one that I'm getting is about mortgage rates. Will they keep rising? Will mortgage rates keep rising? Well, at this point, I'm gonna have to say yes. So that is something as a home buyer you really need to be aware of. And sellers also need to be sensitive to that fact because it does affect how buyers are coming in to make an offer on their property. Buyers are really cash sensitive right now as far as monthly payment and as far as cash to get in and move in, like repairs or updates. So sellers have to be aware of those items as well. So let's provide a little certainty with this. We know mortgage rates are going to continue to rise until the Federal Reserve gets a handle on the inflation that's happening. The last Federal Reserve meeting, they said they're going to continue to raise rates for months ahead. So it is unlikely to see a change in that right now. And if you're a buyer, it's best to capture the lowest interest rate possible. One thing buyers are doing today is they are looking at adjustable rate mortgages for 7 or 10 years to lock their housing costs in for at least that amount of time and make it more affordable to get in today. So one way to follow the interest rates is to look at the 10-year treasury. And I have here on my screen a chart over the last year of the 10-year treasury. And you can see a little bit of up and down, but generally the trend is that is going up. And that is definitely what we're seeing with interest rates, and typically interest rates in the 10-year treasury do follow the same curve. So as long as we see this 10-year treasury rising, interest rates are likely going to be rising as well. Second question I get, what is going to happen with home prices? Well, if you've watched some of my market update videos, you maybe have a little sense of this, but in San Jose area, you can see the chart here. Prices really skyrocketed this spring, mostly driven by the overbidding that was happening by a whole bunch of buyers in the market at the more affordable interest rates. As interest rates rose, stock market decreased, buyers' cash available and their money to just overbid has really shrunk. So we went from a peak of 18% overbidding on average in San Jose in February and March down to 0% in August and September. So that is a huge change in prices, and you can see that here with our orange and blue lines, a huge increase peak and then down. But what I want to point out is this last month in September, we actually saw a reverse in trend and prices ticked back up. Now, how is that possible? Well, really the biggest driver in real estate is supply and demand. And that's what I track here in the green and yellow. Yellow is the supply, green is the demand or closed sales. So this is kind of a little bit of a trailing indicator of demand. But what you can see here is that relatively our yellow supply line is very low to recent years in San Jose. So we are still struggling with low supply, and we have a decent buyer demand, fairly on track with the last several years, which means we are still have a healthy market. One metric I use to track that is the days of inventory. And in San Jose, days of inventory is about 1 month, meaning it'll take 1 month to sell all the houses on the market at the current rate of sales. That is a very healthy number. It's still technically a seller's market. So until the inventory drastically changes or the buyer demand drastically changes, we're going to probably see prices leveling out and holding for a while. The good news is year over year, San Jose home appreciation is small, just 3%. So that's great for buyers and sellers because we're seeing a little bit more stability in that home price. Question number 3, should I buy a home right now? Well, the first option or first answer to that is, can you even afford to buy a home right now? Interest rates have risen. That is a fact. Interest rates will continue to rise. There are some advantages out there right now for adjustable rate mortgages that make it a little bit more affordable on that monthly payment for buyers, as I mentioned before. Credit unions, for example, have very competitive rates right now in adjustable rate mortgages. And depending on your price point, there are some great programs out there available. I'm finding some buyers getting some decent options in that range. So definitely consider the different options. But as a big perspective, you really want to understand monthly payments or costs for housing. Now, with inflation rising, rents are definitely going up. It's also a housing supply issue in the San Jose area, so rents are going up. The only way to lock in your housing costs for an extended period of time is to buy a home and lock in that interest rate. So obviously a 30-year interest rate is preferred, but a 30-year lock, right? But those rates are really high right now. So as I mentioned, people are getting adjustable rate mortgages that are locked for 7 or 10 years. Allows you time to get in, to settle, to pay down some of your mortgage, for this inflation stuff to pass, and you to lock in your payment to build wealth over the next 7 to 10 years. So that is a really important factor in whether you should buy a home right now, is considering your overall financial picture. Also, buying a home really helps you build your net worth. So long term, this is a very good option as well if you're financially ready to make that move. Something that you need to consider in locking in those housing costs and making a home purchase is the ability to stay put in one location for about 7 years. The reason I do that, I discussed in detail in my video from October 6th, where I talk about weathering any volatility and storms in the real estate market. I even take numbers from if you bought at the peak in 2007, right before the Great Recession, the biggest real estate price drop that we've had in history, and you waited 7 years, you still would have a profit. Can you believe that? So this is why the 7-year number. Really need to be able to have your stability in your home and your finances ready, and then yes, you should buy a home now. Okay, so I hope that really helps you understand those 3 top questions. The bottom line is we cannot control interest rates, we cannot control inflation, and we cannot control the stock market. What you can control is your priorities and your finances with housing or the items that you spend. So these are things that we can really control and set goals on. So if you would like to sit down with a market expert like myself who knows the data, knows what's going on, and can help you fine tune the right property and payments moving forward to have an overall net worth and financial plan for your family, please reach out. I would love to sit down and talk details, however technical you want to get into, but set up a plan for you. Thanks for listening.